Good morning, YouTubers. You're watching The Bearded Nerd, and today I'm going to review a game I'm sure everyone remembers playing as a kid, Pesterminator. What? Don't you remember playing this game? Well, chances are you don't remember because it wasn't exactly the most sought-after game on the market. I mean, just look at it. It doesn't even have a traditional cartridge cover like officially licensed NES games had. In fact, it doesn't even have the familiar Tinge Black cartridge. And like Pesterminator, these were also unlicensed. Tinge did eventually make 3 games that were officially licensed, but that's another episode. So why does Pesterminator have this unfamiliar light blue cartridge? Well, it was developed by an American-based company called Color Dreams, which like Tinge began releasing unlicensed games for the NES. Why unlicensed games? Why not just make them official? This all started when Nintendo planned on releasing their now iconic 8-bit system in 1985. Following the video game crash of 1983 that became the death knell for Atari, Intellivision, and ColecoVision, Nintendo wanted to avoid another video game crash. The crash itself occurred because so many companies were releasing similar games, therefore saturating the market. Many say the infamous E.T. game was the root cause of this. While E.T. did contribute, the crash itself would have happened regardless of E.T.'s success or failure. What Nintendo did to protect their new 8-bit system was prevent unlicensed third-party games by requiring each game to have a lockout chip installed in the cartridge. The console itself had the key that was required to unlock these games. Later on, the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo consoles would use similar technology. Companies that made games were only allowed to release 5 games a year, and that's if the games even made it past Nintendo's quality control phase. Many games were rejected by Nintendo due to various reasons, such as poor gameplay or graphics. They also would reject games that were too similar to already released games. Color Dreams was one of the companies that was able to learn how the chip worked and bypass it without having to get approval by Nintendo. And they actually released quite a few games. Out of curiosity, I checked out what a copy of Pesterminator was going for on eBay. Wow, that must be a fluke. How about a collection of other Color Dreams games? Oh, I see. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to set up an eBay auction after this. While Color Dreams had a reputation for making poor quality games, they did attempt to do something never done before that could have resulted in a big change with how 8-bit NES games were designed and made. In 1990, they bought the rights to make a game based on the 1987 hit film Hellraiser. The game was developed using an improved version of the same engine ID Software was using to develop what would be their hit game Wolfenstein 3D. It was the 386 processor used in computers like these that allowed for smooth frame rate, smooth movement of characters, random pixel wiping, and for auto detection, thus eliminating the need to configure sound on a separate program. In order for Color Dreams to even have produced the Hellraiser game using this engine, they needed a Z80 processor as well as an additional 4 megabytes of RAM to be used in the game cartridge. After development of the Hellraiser game, the cartridge itself worked fine. However, the palette switching effect didn't work as it was supposed to and didn't switch between colors fast enough. While Color Dreams did attempt to correct the problem, ultimately they ended up scrapping the entire Hellraiser project. Other problems included attempting to sell an unlicensed game at a much higher price on top of the high risk of retailers refusing to even sell unlicensed games. The only good that came from this for Color Dreams was because they still had the license to use the same engine ID Software used on Wolfenstein 3D, they actually made a Wolfenstein 3D clone for the Super Nintendo called Super 3D Noah's Ark, under their new company name, Wisdom Tree. Now that I've intrigued you with that bit of history, moving on to Pesterminator itself. Trust me, it's not that bad. Or maybe it is. Pesterminator, the Western Exterminator, was actually a marketing ploy used to advertise a pest control company in California. Don't believe me? Here it is. They appear to be everywhere in the American West, which I have to say is a first for pest control businesses. I can't recall a time before when an industry as far apart from gaming requested a game be made advertising their services. A notable fast food company had several games released using their name and character images, but that company caters to children, so it would make sense to make a video game for them. But a pest control company issuing a video game? I'll have to get back to you on that one. Well, how does the game actually play? Let's find out.
Okay, well, this is not a complete walkthrough of the game. I'm just going to do the first couple of stages. But I mean, just listen to that music. It's not going to be good. Alright, so Ronnie the Super Rat is plotting to take over the world with his mutated super pests. You are Colonel Cleanup. It is your job to exterminate, yeah, whatever. Alright. Well, what can I say? Graphics aren't that great. The gameplay, I mean, I didn't even want to go in that room. It just, I'm trying to just navigate. You know, A is your action button to use the hammer, and B jumps, and the controls aren't. I mean, it's not horrible, but I mean, going from room to room, it's you can't even move. And actually, to be honest, here's a picture of me recording and playing the game. This is how I'm having to do that. I'm recording on an old Canon XL1, and I'm having to view it through a small viewfinder. So for a game like this that has very tiny enemies, I can't really see them in that little viewfinder all the time. So I apologize if you guys can see little bugs that I can't see. But it's kind of, again, I'm not. You're just trying to kill the bugs. Hey, look, I got a heart. This, now I won't die sooner, which I kind of wish I would. See, like there's that bug in the upper right hand corner I could not see while playing the game. Yeah, of course, the objects. It's hard to tell what objects you can jump on and go through, because it's really not very clear, because they all look the same. They really do look the same. So I don't know if I'm able to jump on a table or a desk or anything, or just go through it. Yeah, look at that. And there's again, you're hitting select instead of start to get to that little screen that tells you how many bugs you got left, and so at least you know how many bugs you gotta kill. Boy, this house is really kind of confusing based on the layout, because the rooms are just, they don't really make a whole lot of sense. You go in one door and it doesn't seem to follow physics, I think. I don't know who the architect was. And these people's house, I mean, it's covered in just, and it's infested with bugs. They definitely need to call some kind of exterminator. Here's another example. I don't know if I can go over the bed or on top of the desk or can stand on it. But then it looks like, hey, I can get on the bed. And the health life, you appear to get hit quite a bit, but it doesn't affect the health that much, which is great, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe now is not the best time to mention I have a phobia of wasps. I don't really like the stinging insects that can fly. I'm okay as long as they can't fly. Like I'm fine with snakes, I'm fine with scorpions. All those are great. So, but if they can fly, I don't like them. Home sweet home. Yeah, right. One thing I noticed is that even if you kind of clear a level or clear a room, there can still be more bugs that you gotta kill later on. It's sort of annoying. See, I'm having to go back and see what has regenerated. Let's get that bee. Kill that bee. Especially since it flies and can sting. See, there's a spider. I don't think it was there originally. If it was hiding. I gotta go up and get it. The hammer. What an odd weapon, too, for an exterminator. It's a hammer. And he holds it behind his back with his little finger and like he's shaming the bug, or you better not do this. Whack him with a hammer. I don't think exterminators really use a hammer. I mean, even a fly swatter would make sense, but you can't use that as a weapon in this game because there's more than just flies. But a hammer? Finally got that bee. Now we're on to level 2, which kind of looks like level 1. Bad graphics, same, well, pretty much the same layout, really. I mean, that's a lot of white. You think they could pick another color than white? It's so bright. Hey, an elevator. Alright. I think I want to go back downstairs before trying to do it. I'm not sure the elevator actually lets you control what floor. So basically, once you get on the elevator, you just automatically you just go up until you reach the top, and then you can go back down to the bottom one. That's not very efficient. Don't really like that part. See, I don't even try to go out of the room. It's just the controls. It's easy to exit a room. So you can't even go down until you get to the very top. I hate that. Like it matters. Don't think I'll be playing this game again after this. Haven't played this actually in probably 25 years. This is another little screen where I'm not sure what you can jump on and what you can't. So I was, and again, you don't jump very high, but to get up that little platform, you gotta really run and jump. Up there we are. That's not an edit. This was actually part of the game. You're on the top and you go right back to the bottom. And those two bugs that I left, I actually did not see them when I was recording the game because of the viewfinder. Even worse than trying to play a game on a 13-inch monitor. Music is just awful. For a company that was making the Hellraiser game and making it so sophisticated and modern with the engine it was going to use, I can't believe they came up with this. Hey, I finally got up there. Alright, got those two bugs, which I finally noticed. Hey, I can actually get up there. It's tricky, especially since the A and B buttons were reversed. It's, the way your mind and hand is accustomed to the controller. It's A is supposed to be jump and B is the action. So when you're running and jumping, it's the opposite. Where are the rest of the bugs? Just want to get this level over with. Oh, there they are. Alright. Level 3. You know what? I think I'm going to quit here at level 3. Not much more I can say about the game. I don't see a point in doing the whole thing. So, and with 43 bugs on that level, I'm going to call it quits.
Pesterminator did not spawn off any sequels, and like I mentioned earlier, by 1991, Color Dreams already changed their name to Wisdom Tree. So what was the impact this game left on the industry? Not much really, other than being a collector's item for those who collect games. The game itself wasn't anything special. The fact the A button was your action button and the B button jumped, which was the opposite of what most games did, didn't make it any more popular. And on top of the fact there weren't any power-ups or different weapons, made it kind of stale. But if you happen to see a copy or any of the Color Dreams games at a garage sale, be sure to pick one up. You can get your money's worth selling it online. Well, that's it for this episode of The Bearded Nerd. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button if you want to keep up with future videos, and feel free to write hateful comments below. See you next time.